Hi, it's Morgan and welcome to the Dove's Nest. In today's video, I'm showing you all of the changes we've made in our school at home. Hi everyone and welcome back to my channel. My name is Morgan Dove and I am a self-admitted hot mess mom. I normally am on a journey to create habits and routines to keep my home clean and organized, but lately I've been on a totally separate journey. That's right, the journey of school at home. Now, I did teach my toddler years ago. We did some Tot School at home, and I have lots of videos with some inspiration for you. I will be sure to link that playlist up here. But now he's in transitional kindergarten, and so we are having to school at home, and I'm just trying to navigate the waters and figure out what the heck I'm doing. And so I just posted a few weeks ago that discusses all of the curriculum that we are using at home. However, we've made quite a few changes since that video. And so that's what I'm going to be talking about in today's video. If you like this kind of content, be sure to give this video a thumbs up. And if you want to stay along for some house cleaning, decluttering, organizing videos, as well as homeschool videos, be sure to hit that subscribe button. The first change that we've made to our school at home is that my son actually finished the Good and the Beautiful Level K primer. Now, I'm thinking about doing a review on this curriculum. We loved it. We loved it, loved it, loved it. But I did have a few things that I wanted to mention that my son actually complained about. So coming from the perspective of a 5-year-old, he had some things to say about this. As much as we loved it, we did finish this as well as the supplement that you can get with the Level K primer course. And because we still have a month and a half left of our traditional school year, we are going to go ahead and graduate to the Level K language arts program. So I pulled this out and showed it to my son, and we kind of did a quick flip through. He is so excited about the reader and to have more books to read. And then he got a little worried. I actually have all of our phonics cards that I have gone ahead and punched out and just put in a bag. I have a little index card box on order that we're waiting for that we will keep them in. But I was just showing him, we're gonna go through these cards, and he kind of freaked out. So I was like, no, we're gonna go through like 5 or 10 cards a day. But we are so excited for this Level K language arts from the Good and the Beautiful. Also falling into the language arts category, we have some new reading material. Now, I mentioned this, I think, in my last video, but I did order the little Becca readers. This is from the K4, K5 Becca homeschool curriculum, but my son was just looking for more material. We are using the Good and the Beautiful readers. I have the box set A and B, as well as the reader that comes with the Primer K course. And we are using Bob books, but he still is just reading about 3 or 4 books a day. So we added these as well. Also for reading, his transitional kindergarten teacher sent us a link to Lexia Core. It's an online reading program, and it's basically just games that teaches him phonics. He went through the assessment. Now, it was like 3 days that he was playing these games and doing these levels, and I thought he was just doing the work. I didn't realize it was like a 3-day assessment. But he placed at a 1st grade reading level, and then he was getting really frustrated because there were so many concepts in those games that he placed in that he hasn't learned yet. And I think we've kind of figured out how to backtrack and get him back down at a kindergarten reading level. I know the Good and the Beautiful lessons are going to help us get there, but he's loving that. So we spend about 10 to 15 minutes every day doing the Lexia Core reading app. Lastly, for language arts, I did mention that we are doing Handwriting Without Tears. This is the book that he was actually using in his TK class. I purchased the lowercase letter book as well as all of the number books. And starting on Monday, we're just gonna work our way through this entire book again, as well as the lowercase level book, just to make sure he's got everything. I also ordered from Handwriting Without Tears the new level Kickstart to Kindergarten. And it's a book that combines both the uppercase and lowercase letters. So we'll be starting on that just as soon as we finish this book. But with this book, I wanted to talk about these babies and what a game changer they have been. I did purchase the chalkboards. They were like $3 each from Handwriting Without Tears. And then I also got the big jumbo lowercase letter chalkboard, as well as the box of little chalk bits. You guys, This has been a game changer in my son's handwriting. I mentioned in my last homeschool video that handwriting has been a super struggle since we have been doing school at home. And this is amazing. I don't know why the chalkboard is so much fun to write on, but it's really helping him learn the strokes of the letters, which is amazing. So he's learning how to form the letters. It's fun on the chalkboard. He'll play on this for like 10, 15, sometimes even 20 minutes. And then he'll just go right into the worksheet, and his handwriting is beautiful. I also am loving the little chalk bits. Now this chalk, it's regular chalk. You could probably find some on Amazon for like way less expensive. Maybe I'll link some in my description box for you. But this chalk is just little 1-inch pieces of chalk. I remember when he started TK, his teacher really wanted him to work on some fine motor skills. And what she suggested was breaking crayons into little 1-inch pieces and having him pick them up with his fingertips and then drop them, and just really strengthening those finger muscles. And so this itty bitty, I mean, you get like a whole million pieces of chalk, but they're all just itty bitty pieces, and they are working so well at strengthening his finger and improving his pencil grip. Like, this is amazing. I don't know why we didn't buy these supplements to this curriculum sooner. It's going so well. Now, I don't have a blank sheet handy, but also to go with handwriting, I created these little lined papers. Once or twice a week in our school at home, we are doing a Kids Art Hub video, and then we write the letter. You know, we're drawing something, but we're writing that whatever letter is for, and then whatever we're drawing. But the reason I love these papers so much is because, as I mentioned, the Handwriting Without Tears is teaching my son the stroke of the letter, but he still wasn't getting how to translate the strokes of the letter onto lined paper. So I don't know how well you can see this or how bright it is or isn't. If I bring this up closer, you can see that I just created these little papers in Photoshop. The top line is blue, the middle dotted line is pink, and the bottom line is green. But the reason I'm loving these sheets so much is because it's helping me teach him how to translate those Handwriting Without Tears strokes on the chalkboard to lined paper. So instead of just saying something like big line down, I can tell him big line down from the sky to the grass, and it's color coordinated so he knows what that is. Or I can say to the flowers. And so that's sort of how we are just implementing these in our handwriting practice every day. Now, I was totally inspired by the Becca curriculum. In their early handwriting curriculum, they use a 3-story house, and so they have, you know, the ceiling, the carpet, and the basement. And also, a Reason for Handwriting uses a tree house to teach a very similar concept. I didn't want to spend money to buy blank pads of paper with those pictures on them. And so I just made my own, and it's working so well. So if you'd like to get some copies of this, I will just put a PDF in the description box below. Feel free to download and print as many times as you'd like. In my last homeschooling video, I did a bunch of prep of our Moffat Girls math centers for the Kindergarten Math Unit 2. And I was up until 3:30 in the morning laminating and cutting, and then I still had to finish the next day. There are 15 lessons in this unit, so it would have taken us 3 weeks to complete, and it's just not working. We loved Unit 1, numbers 1 through 10. Now, he's not in kindergarten yet. He's transitional kindergarten. So this is a level above, which is why I only picked select units from this curriculum. And to go with it, I also purchased from Lakeshore Learning, this is a math toolbox, and it's for grades kindergarten through 1st grade. And it is so cute. We are getting so much use out of this. So it comes with just a few base 10 blocks. So you have your 10 cubes, and they call these the cheese cubes. They're little 1 dots. There's this little roll. It unrolls to be a number line. We have some pattern blocks here. And then it came with a chart for numbers 1 through 120, and then some 10 frames, 2 different 10 frames. And we have been loving playing with this. The other thing I purchased to go with this was this little individual student pack of money. So it has bills and coins, and we have been getting so much use out of these things. A few weeks ago, he mentioned he wanted to learn how to count to 100. So we've been doing this just when we start our math lesson every day. We'll do a quick count of 100. And he nailed it the first day, And so we just keep going, and it's great. It's been really great to have these little tools. The problem is with this Moffat Girls Unit 2 curriculum, it's not working for us. Because 11 through 20 at this age, the kids still have to count a lot in order to understand what's going on. He was spending a lot of time counting. So we would do the centers, and I spent all that time cutting and laminating all the numbers for every center. And then we would open a lesson and it would just say, do this center, but only use number 14. And so then, everything he was trying to sabotage and piece together and the puzzles he was putting together, he was only doing number 14. So he got super sick of counting over and over and over to just complete one center, that we decided, let's shelve it for now. We can maybe add it in as supplements later. But if we're going to continue using the Moffat Girls curriculum, we're going to continue with the fun units, the shapes, the measurement and data, the telling time, and the money. So what are we using instead? Well, when it first came out a few years ago, I purchased the Good and the Beautiful Math K curriculum because I was just so excited to have it. At the time, I wasn't sure if we would be homeschooling or not, so I purchased it. So when I was thinking about what we could do for math for the next at least month and a half, I went through the closet and I pulled this out and I started flipping through. And I read through the first 10 to 15 lessons, and I realized that he is more than ready for these lessons. He's actually a little bit more advanced for what I saw so far, but there are concepts in here that we haven't learned yet. And so I think it's gonna work really well. So we are so excited to start the Math K. I do have the whole collection still in the box with both of the textbooks and then all of the manipulatives. So I showed him that, and he is so excited to start level K. Last weekend, I was lying awake in bed, not able to sleep, mostly because this baby inside my tummy would not hold still. And I just had the strongest impression that I needed to add more to what we were already doing. If you saw my last homeschool video, you might be thinking, Morgan, you're insane. You're already doing a whole lot for schooling at home during a pandemic. But I feel like these things are things that we should have been doing the whole time anyway. So the first thing that we have started doing is we go outside every morning before we start school and we say the Pledge of Allegiance to the flag that we have hanging in front of our house. And it has been so much fun. My son knows the Pledge of Allegiance. My daughter, who's 3, doesn't, but she's catching on and learning the pledge really fast. Once we finished the pledge, the first day that we did it, my son requested that we sing You're a Grand Old Flag. He used to do this in his TK class, and I love that song. It was the first patriotic song I learned when I was little, and so I thought that was just so cute. And so after we finish our pledge every day, we sing You're a Grand Old Flag. And again, my daughter's already singing it, and we've only been doing it for about a week, and it's been so precious. And then once we come in from pledge, we have started doing a calendar. I didn't realize in TK that my son was doing things on the calendar every day. And then when I started to flip through the Good and the Beautiful math curriculum, I noticed that they used a calendar in that curriculum every day. And so we started implementing calendar every day. We're not implementing it exactly like the daily dose in the Math K, so I'm gonna tell you what we do. We use songs from our Let's Play Music class, and we start by singing all about this season. So we talk about a year and how a full year is 365 days, and a year can be from your birthday to your next birthday, or from one Christmas until next Christmas, or we just had Easter, so we talk about how it can be from this Easter to next Easter, and we talk about a year just very quickly, very generally. And then we pull this out and we sing our season song from Let's Play Music. And then we sing both the months of the year and the days of the week from the Good and the Beautiful curriculum. They have free downloads on the website. We got it with the Math K curriculum, but they're just so beautiful. So I made these little printables, and both of my kids can follow along and do the months and the days. And then I also have little buttons with sticky tack on them. And on this one, we just stick the button next to the month it is. We just changed to May. And then on this one, we have a little yesterday, today, and tomorrow arrow that I just printed off on the computer. And so we'll stick those on this page as well. Once we finish our calendar time songs, I have these little printables that I got from education.com/worksheets. I will be sure to leave a link below. It was a blank calendar that just had, sort of this top border and some little pictures on the bottom border that the kids can color. And then in Photoshop, I went through and I added each of the dates in like a dotted font so that my kids could trace it. For example, here's the one for April that we completed. And so they just every day will trace one of the different dates. So once we trace our date for the day, we practice saying the date. So we will say today is Wednesday, April 30th, 5 or 6 times. And then we will move on to using this place values chart. This comes with the Good and the Beautiful kindergarten math curriculum. And even though we won't start using that till Monday, we have been using this. And so we open it up just to the 1s and the 10 spot. And we will look at our day on the calendar, and then we will plug in, and then using these little base 10 blocks that came in the math toolbox from Lakeshore Learning, this little box here, we will go ahead and we just enter the date, and we just practice our 10s and 1s place value for the date. Now, what was really fun was on April 30th. We had 2 of the 10s sticks. My kids call them green trees. And then we had our 9 little cheese blocks, they call them. And so we were able to do a trade. And my kids thought that was so cool that they got to do a trade for a green tree. Like, it's not even a big deal, but they are really loving doing calendar time every day. As I mentioned, last weekend I was laying in bed and just felt heavily impressed that I needed to add more to our curriculum. So the other thing that we have added is a Charlotte Mason inspired enrichment study. Now, we've already been doing a devotional every day. Each week we have a new topic, and then we sort of break that topic down into daily lessons. I'm filming a lesson planning video soon, so once that's ready, I will be sure to link it up here and you can see a little bit more about what I'm talking about. But one thing we weren't doing that I just couldn't believe we weren't doing already was we have now decided to add a weekly hymn. Now, we're not necessarily studying the hymn or the composer of the hymn. We're just learning a new hymn every week that ties into our lesson. So for example, this past week we studied about the birth of Jesus as well as the birth of John the Baptist. And our hymn was Mary's Lullaby, and it was so beautiful and so fun. Next week, we're studying about Jesus throughout his childhood, and we're going to be singing Jesus Once Was a Little Child. We'll probably just sing it once, maybe twice a day, but I just want to start to get my kids learning their hymns. So hymn study was huge. Again, I can't believe we weren't doing it already. Next, I found this company on Instagram called Squilt Music. I don't have anything to show, so I'll link some pictures and their website down below in the description box. It's called Squilt Music. Squilt Music is a homeschool music appreciation program, and it was developed to help homeschool parents who don't know anything about music. And it's been so great. We didn't sign up for the full curriculum. There's so many lessons. We just have the monthly calendar. And on the monthly calendar, there is a piece of orchestral music to listen to every single day. So we just finished April. The theme for April's calendar was ballets. And so we listened to pieces from The Nutcracker, from Romeo and Juliet, from all these wonderful ballets. We listened to these songs every single day. And it was usually when my kids were coloring in their calendars or doing a coloring sheet or something from our devotional, we had this music playing. And this month, the month of April, it's Squilt at the Movies. And so we have movie scores to listen to every day of the month. You guys, I love movie scores like Pirates of the Caribbean and the Avatar soundtrack and the Last of the Mohican soundtrack, Lord of the Rings. Like, it's such beautiful music. For example, on Friday, we listened to all of the songs for Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. And then because we didn't have a 31st of the month of April, it kind of included like that last minute. And that song happened to be the score from Platoon. And my son actually cried because it was so sad. And it's terribly, terribly depressing. And so the next song we listened to was the score from Back to the Future. And then we also listened to songs from 2001: A Space Odyssey, and we drew rocket ships. And it's just been so much fun. to integrate some more of this beautiful music into our curriculum. I do want to say, starting next week, it's John Williams week. So if you like John Williams, get that calendar. Also, this is not sponsored by Squilt. They don't know I exist. We're just really enjoying it. If you haven't heard of them, go over to squilt.com, check them out, download that calendar. I think it's like $5 for the monthly calendar, but it has been so worth it. My kids are loving it. So while we've added the hymn to our devotional study, and then we've sort of created this enrichment study with our Squilt music, I have also added an enrichment loop. And so what that loop consists of is a fable, poetry, and a character study. Every Monday and Thursday, we're reading a poem. Now, we're not memorizing poetry. I know that's kind of the Charlotte Mason way. We're not working on memorizing anything. We're mostly just reading poetry for the fun of reading poetry. I also noticed that my son does not entirely understand what rhyming words are. He doesn't get that the ending of the word has to sound the same. And so, I'll ask him, what's a rhyming word? And he'll say bear and ball because and it's like, no, that's not accurate. So this week we've been reading these Read-Aloud Rhymes for the very young, and we will just open up a page and we will read all of the poems on that page. And they have actually been really enjoying the poetry. On Tuesdays and Fridays, we are studying fables. And so I have the Usborne illustrated stories from Aesop, and these are so cute. The illustrations are beautiful. They're not too long. They're maybe 1 to 2 pages each, but we are loving these stories and the lessons that we learn at the end of them. And then lastly, on Wednesdays every week, we are doing our character study. Now, I mentioned in my last homeschool video that we have been using the Stand and Tall series from the Bright Kids, and we were kind of just implementing it here and there. And now we are making a point every Wednesday. We are doing one of the audiobooks and we are learning about a new character trait. So that's it. Those are the updates and the changes that we have made to our homeschool. We are having so much fun. We are having so much fun. And I love that I finally figured out to add these things, these patriotic pledge and singing and the spiritual worship of hymns, and then the beautiful enrichment of poetry and character and fables and classical music. It's made such a difference. We've been doing this for about a week, and it's made such a difference in how our day goes, and I'm just loving it. If you like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up. And again, if you want to see more of my content, be sure to subscribe. As always, thank you so much for joining me, and I will be sure to see you in my next video. Clean up, everybody, everywhere, clean up.